On the morning of 1st December 1948, just after sunrise, a well-dressed man was found dead on Somerton Beach, just south of Adelaide, Australia. He was lying neatly against a seawall. His legs were crossed. His polished shoes were still on his feet. There was no sign of struggle, no blood, no visible wounds, and no one, not a single person on earth, could say who he was. What followed became one of the most enduring mysteries of the 20th century, a case filled with coded messages, missing labels, possible espionage, and clues that seemed designed to disappear. This is the true story of the Somerton Man. When authorities arrived, they found a man estimated to be in his early 40s. He was dressed unusually well for a summer evening on an Australian beach. A crisp white shirt, a knitted pullover, a tailored jacket, smart trousers, shined leather shoes. In his pocket was a bus ticket, unused. In another, a railway ticket to Henley Beach. There was no wallet, no identification. Witnesses later reported seeing him the night before, sitting upright, apparently alive. One person noticed his arm twitch briefly, but thought nothing of it. By morning, he was dead. The coroner could find no obvious cause of death. The autopsy only deepened the mystery. The man was physically fit. No signs of trauma, no drowning, no heart disease severe enough to explain sudden death. But there were strange details. His spleen was enlarged, his stomach was congested. His pupils were unusually small. The pathologist suspected poisoning, possibly with a rare, fast-acting toxin that leaves little trace. At the time, such poisons were known mostly to military and intelligence agencies. Yet no poison could be identified. Official cause of death unknown. Police traced the railway ticket to Adelaide station, where they discovered an unclaimed suitcase left in a locker the day before the man died. Inside, clothing with every label, carefully removed, a stenciled name. T. Keane. Later found to be false. Thread-matching repairs in the man's trousers. No passport, no personal letters, no photographs. Whoever owned the suitcase had gone to great lengths to erase his identity. At a time when few people traveled without papers, this was deeply unusual. Months later, investigators made a discovery that transformed the case. Hidden in a small secret pocket sewn into the man's trousers was a tightly rolled scrap of paper. On it were two words, Tamam Shud. The phrase was Persian. It translated to, "It is finished." The paper was eventually traced to a rare edition of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, a book of poetry. But this was no ordinary book. Police located the exact copy of the Rubaiyat, found abandoned in the back seat of a stranger's car. Inside the book, the final page was torn out, several lines of handwritten letters, arranged like a code. No clear language pattern, no known cipher could break it, despite decades of attempts by military cryptographers, linguists, and amateur codebreakers. The message has never been conclusively deciphered. Was it a cipher, a shorthand, or something meant to be understood by only one person? Inside the book was also a penciled phone number. It led to a woman living only a few streets from where the Somerton man's body was found. She was a nurse. When shown a plaster cast of the dead man's face, witnesses said she became visibly shaken, nearly fainting. Before quickly composing herself, she insisted she had never known him. Yet she admitted that during World War II, she had given a copy of the Rubaiyat to a man whose name she refused to discuss. She would say nothing more. Even years later, she avoided the subject entirely. The timing of the case raised uncomfortable questions. 1948 was the early Cold War. Adelaide was near classified military facilities. Australia was quietly involved in nuclear research with British allies. An unidentified man, possibly poisoned, carrying a coded message, linked to a nurse with wartime connections. It all felt disturbingly close to espionage, yet no intelligence agency has ever acknowledged involvement. If he was a spy, his mission ended silently on the sand. In 2022, modern forensic genealogy finally attached a name to the Somerton Man's in Carl Webb, an electrical engineer from Melbourne. But the identification solved only one question. It did not explain why he erased his identity, why he was carrying a cryptic message, why he died suddenly and silently, who he was meant to meet, or why key records about him appear missing. Even with a name, the story remains unfinished. The Somerton Man arrived without a past and left without answers. His final message, "It is finished," feels less like a conclusion and more like a warning. Perhaps the truth was never meant to surface. Perhaps it died with him, sealed inside a code no one was supposed to read. Or perhaps the mystery was the point all along. A man on a beach. A story without an ending.